here we go with another video. This one's going to be kind of quick. There's a lot of information, and due to time, we'll get it out here. We're talking about exponent rules. And again, we need to understand what the rules are so we can complete the equation or the expression appropriately. So let's take a look. Let's look at the first one. The very first one we have is the product rule, okay? And when we say product, we mean to multiply, right? Let's put that up there. Multiply. Been a while since I used this thing, huh? Okay. So to multiply the two bases, right? So the two bases have to be the same. And the base would be like the x in this problem number A. In problem B, it would be the 2's. In problem C, you would have an x and a y and an x and a y. So they're the same base. If the two bases are the same, then you can add the exponents when you multiply. So real simple. When you multiply, you add. So you multiply. Okay, I had to fix that. So when we multiply, we add. Okay? So remember that. Multiplication is add. So here we have, I'll change here. We have x to the third and x to the 8th. So we're going to take the 3 and the 8 and add them, and we get 11. We keep the same base and add the two exponents. So we could write it as we've done in class, x to the third plus 8, and that equals x to the 11th, right? Next one, real simple. Multiply, add. We're multiplying. We're going to keep the base, which is 2, and then we add the two exponents, which is 4 and 2, and we get 2 to the 6th. This one, it's not complicated. Remember, let's separate what we have. We have an x squared here and an x to the third. Let's do that first. They're the same base, so we can add those together. We keep the base, which is x, and we add 2 and 3, which gives us 5, and then we do the y's. So here, maybe I'll change this. So the y is here, and the 4 is here. Now, one thing to remember, when we have a variable with no exponent, it still counts as 1, doesn't it? So this y has a value of 1. So I'm going to add 1 plus the 4 on the y. So now we have y to the 5th. So again, we added these two and we added these two. And do not forget, just because it has a y, it still counts as 1. Okay? Let's see. Let's keep going here. So quotient rule, which means to divide, right? So whenever we divide, we subtract. Let's always remember that. So we have multiply, add, and then we have divide, subtract. Okay? This may get a little messy, but we're going to, for time, we're going to keep moving here. So we divide. When we have division of exponents, we subtract. So here, I have the 5 on the top and the 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to subtract this 2. I'm going to keep the same base and subtract 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So I keep the same base, and I have x to the third, which is correct. Let's do it again. We're going to subtract 5 minus 3. So this goes away. We keep the same base. 5 minus 3 is 2. And that's that. Next one. Just because it's got a lot of them, we're not going to freak out. Let's start with the x. We have x squared over x. So x squared, let's take that. Let's just pick it apart here, right? And x. So we know that since it's one letter, we have a 1 there, right? So 2 minus 1 is 1, which gives us just x. Now let's do the y. Now we have the y to the 5th and y to the 3rd. So how about 5 minus 3, which gives us y to the 2nd. Okay? So that's real simple how we do that. So our answer is xy to the 2nd, just like it says here. Okay? Next one, let's go to the power rule. When we multiply a power to a power, so again, we have the power of 3, and we are raising it to the power of 2. Okay? So let's I'll clear that out to make it look a little clearer. So we have when we have power to power, we multiply. Okay? So we multiply. So 3 times 2 is 6. So again, x to the third to the second. Okay? Let's see. Let's do this again. I'm going to expand this one. Let's keep going. So this one, again, we multiply. I have the power of 2 and 4. I keep the base, again, 3, and then 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? Just the 2 and the 4. All right. So let's see here. Maybe I can get that out of there so you can see that later. All right, last one. Once again, we have z to the 5th raised to the 2nd. 5 times 2 is 10. That's our answer. Real simple, okay? Whenever there's a power raised to a power, that's what we do. The zero exponent rule, the easiest one ever. You know, whenever you see a 0, it is 1, right? It is equal to 1. So again, 1, 1. It doesn't matter how big and scary it is. If the whole thing is raised to the power of 0, it is 1. Okay? That's easy enough, right? And again, do not get it confused. It's not 0, it's 1. Okay? Now, negative exponents. Got a little bit more to do here. So a negative exponent, we don't like exponents to be negative. If we do that, we need to, well, they don't say it up here, do they? But we need to do the reciprocal. Remember how we flip it. So I'll put flip up here and remove the negative. Okay? So if I have x to the negative third, I'm going to put a 1. I'm going to put that x to the third there, and I'm going to get rid of the negative sign. Okay? So as you can see, we got rid of the negative, and we put a 1 over it. Right here, if I did it like this, that's one way to look at it too, right? So again, we flip it. Put everything underneath a 1, and then we take away the negative. Okay? Now, just like this one, 4 to the negative 2. We put the 1 over, and we put the 4 squared underneath the 1. Okay? Now, this one they continued to work on a little bit further. This can be expanded. You have the 4 squared is 16, right? And we've talked about that in class to do that. So that becomes 16. All right, the last one. Oh, this looks huge. What am I going to do with all this? Well, let's take a look. Let's break it apart. We have a negative 4, right? I'm going to do different colors. We have an x to the 5th. And let's see. We have a y to the negative 2, right? Well, the negative 4 and the x to the 5th, they're fine. We don't have to mess with those. So let's put those over here for a minute. Negative 4 x to the 5th, right? Then we have to do something with that y because it's negative. We don't like y. So that's going to change the y to the negative 2. We're going to put 1 over y to the 2nd, right? Just like we do. And if I put that over here, I'm going to have the 1 here and y to the 2nd. Now we know negative 4x to the 5th times 1 is just negative 4x to the 5th. So we don't even have to write that 1. We can take it and we can get rid of that 1 if we want. Okay? And there's your answer. Negative 4x 5th to the y to the 2nd. Okay? All right. One more thing. Expanded power rule. Remember, when we have the power out there, it applies to everything. So this 2a to the third, remember, let's split this apart again. We have a 2 to the third, right? And we also have an a to the third. So what does 2 to the third equal? 2 times 2 times 2, right? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So here's where we get our 8. And then a to the third is just simply a to the third. So there you go. Okay? And now the last one, let's expand this one out. So we have 6x third to the 2nd. Well, let's follow our rule. Our first rule here is the power rule. So it's raised to a power. So I'm going to put that in here. That's going to be 6 squared. And then I have the x to the third. When I have power to power, I multiply them. to x to the sixth. 6 squared equals 36. And then I bring down my x to the sixth, and we're done. That's it. So again, if trouble, just expand these, okay? Take them apart and do all the math together. Okay, so again, that 2 applied to the 6, and it also applied to the x to the third. All right, let's look at this division one. Holy scary, it's not. Okay, we have everything raised to the fourth that's inside this parentheses. So we have x squared up here, and we have the y down here. Both of them need to go by 4. So, and again, we have a power to a power, so we multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm going to save room here. We're going to make that an 8. And then the y also gets the 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. Now, let's see here. Looks like we're done. That's it. That's all there is to do. So don't freak out when you see those. Just remember, everything inside, even if it's a fraction, gets raised to the fourth power. Okay, guys, good luck with this. I have posted a practice sheet for you on the Google Classroom. So if you want to practice extra problems and show them to me, I'd be glad to go over them with you. But please look over this video and practice, 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 and turn in your homework.